Hey guys, how's it going? Just want to do a quick video here. We have a breakout. I wanted to talk to you guys about it quickly. So, looking here at Bitcoin on the daily chart, very interesting. With well, we've talked about this many times. We've got the BTC cost of production on here. We were working, um, forming a bottom. What I believe we were doing is forming a bottom, and now we've broken out. Do we hold it? I don't know. I sure hope so. But we've broken out of this resistance level, multiple resistances here, forming this strong resistance in around the 76,000 to 70, 74,000 range. Now we do have a little bit here that it would be nice to kind of break through, but we might see something like this. This would be very positive, right? Even if we see a rejection up here, but if we're holding this range, this is a big deal. Okay, so that's what we're looking to do is hold this range and create a higher high and a higher low. And it tells us that we're building our way out of this bottom. That would be massive. Something else that I think is very interesting and makes me very hopeful. Let me just clean this up a little bit here. Is if we look at Bitcoin on the weekly chart and we have the BDZ, the Blockchain Decoded Z score. Take a look at this, guys. This is exciting, I think. All right. Look at every time that we've printed a green dollar sign, buy signal. All right. Now, this one here, it didn't work out. We printed one, we got rejected, and we fell lower. This was the October debacle. Here, we printed one, it didn't break out. We fell back down. We printed another one at around the same level. Over here, let me get rid of this. Over here, we printed, and then we had FTX, and then we printed another one, and then we went. Something that I think is very interesting is let me just clean this up here. I meant to do that before I started the video. So if we go all the way back and we see that we were starting to form a bottom in this range here, right? And why do I think that? Well, because that's the exact same time that the S&P 500 was forming its bottom, right? And if you watch these videos regularly, you would have heard me talk about this before, right? S&P 500 forms its bottom, Bitcoin forms its bottom. Bitcoin had an industry specific black swan with FTX. Bitcoin broke out of this pattern, the same pattern that um, the S&P 500 was forming of higher highs and higher lows. Okay, Bitcoin broke out of that because of the FTX collapse. It would have, oops, that's the wrong one. It would have done the same thing, right? It would have done the same thing. Maybe it fell here, but it didn't make a new low. Okay, let me keep going here. And then higher highs and higher lows. Okay, so it would have done the same pattern, in my opinion. It wouldn't have made a new low here, the same as FTX didn't make a new low. So maybe it went up and maybe it came down a little bit, had a correction, similar to what the S&P 500 did. Okay, and then you can see just the correlation here of S&P 500 and and Bitcoin. It just continues. So let's get rid of these arrows and tell you what makes me excited. So if we discount the industry specific black swan of FTX, if we count that out, okay, which I should have, which I believe we should, and Bitcoin would have done something like this and then started making new all-time highs, similar to the S&P 500. So if we count that out, then what we see here is Bitcoin printed and two S's at the bottom, signaling the bottom range, same as S&P 500. and it started to go up, and it got rejected by the moving average, came down, got rejected by the moving average, came down, and then broke through the moving average right here, confirming we're on our way up. Okay. Now, what happened here, the FTX, we talked about this. The FTX happened and it fell. Yeah. Okay. But what happens if we let's just take a quick little look over here at the actual S&P 500 on its BDZ score and see what it did. Where are we here? S&P 500 weekly. Let me get the BDZ score up here. I got a lot of stuff. All right, let me clean these up here. So we got the BDZ score on the weekly. And then if we take a look back, let me get rid of others. All right. So if we take a look back over here, we see it printed and it broke through the BDZ score and stayed above it, right? And held it. We teased through and then we just kept going. Okay, so this is what I think would have happened with Bitcoin also if the FTX collapse never happened. It would have broke through and stayed strong. So here we have the BDZ score. We broke through the moving average, then we fell back down, and then finally we broke through and held it right here, which shows us that once it prints and it breaks and holds, it breaks and would have held, but it didn't, breaks and holds, we're on our way for a solid move. Okay, then it fell back through over here. And then look over here, it broke back again through the moving average, massive move. Okay, so we printed, broke through the moving average, massive move. We fell back through, we came back up, broke through the moving average, massive move. We printed, got rejected, came down, rejected, printed, broke through the moving average, massive move. Let me get rid of the SPX or S&P, S&P. Massive move. Okay. We printed, broke through the moving average, another big move. Okay. Here we printed, we got rejected, we didn't break through, came back down. Printed, didn't make it. Now we're just breaking through this moving average right now as we speak, getting close to 79K. This has historically been a big deal, very big deal. So, do we see it again? Does this move hold? Historically, it typically does, right? Unless we see some sort of black swan, which can happen, right? But we can't count on black swans. We can't plan on a black swan happening and trade or buy or invest based on I think there's going to be a black swan. Of course not. We have to go with probabilities. And just with um with this indicator right now, it's been basically 100% on these breakthroughs. It's been incredible. This entire cycle. And then once we overlay the cost of production, that's just an extra bonus, right? We've always used this as a springboard, not even only in this cycle, but going back, we've used this as a springboard, 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 right? Springboard. Even here, we touched it, springboard. Even here, springboard, right? We spent some time in it, springboard, right? And then that's when it goes back to the beginning of the history of it. But I don't know, there's a lot of people, a lot of doomers on X right now. There's just too much information. There's too much data showing us that we are building a bottom and possibly right now breaking out of it and moving to the upside. Exciting times. We've been waiting for this for a long time. It looks like it could be happening. I'm watching it closely. I'm not just gonna FOMO and go all in. I still have my plan. I'm still sticking to my plan. I'm still trying to be disciplined. Still DCAing. I'm still DCAing into higher caps right now. So I'm watching. I'm watching. Another thing that's really cool. I put out an image of it. But look at this. This here, others. Okay, others top 125, excluding the top 10. All right. Every time we printed, look at what's happened. Oh, every time we printed, look at big moves. Print, keep moving. Print. Let's see. Let's see. Very cool. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. I don't want to make a long video. Um, let me know what you think. Let me know what you're watching. I'll chat with you guys soon. Later, boys. Ladies, if you're here.